Hello there, everybody. Today we're talking about detection dogs, nose work, scent work, and how can we help our dogs work more efficiently and more effectively? And what is the connection between this and canine fitness? This is a topic that came to mind to me today because I've had a couple conversations with people about canine fitness and telling them about the work that I do in canine fitness, some of the things that I offer people and help people and their dogs. And it seems like many times when I'm talking with people who do detection work, either for work or for sport, one of their first responses is, well, oh, but I do detection work. I don't do patrol work. My dog doesn't do bite work. I don't do those activities, where fitness is like so important. And it seems I find that people make the connection to fitness a lot more easily when they're thinking about high impact sports. When you're looking at things like agility and flyball and all the different protection sports and patrol dogs. But whenever we're looking at detection work, we're looking at nose work, scent work, I know a lot of the times fitness is not the first thing. Developing a fitness program is not the first thing that comes to people's mind. A lot of times I know people that will do this as a sport because their dog has retired from those activities that are harder on the body. So what I wanted to talk to you today about was I want to help you see that fitness is just as important with these dogs as the dogs that are doing those other types of activities. Now, the benefits of it, those other sports, those other jobs, those dogs are more at risk of having injury due to impact, due to, bodily harm because of the activities they do. Whereas, when I'm out there trailing with a trailing dog, there's not as much of that, that physical risk of injury to the body as, say, an IPO dog. So for those dogs, one of the huge things about fitness and having a fit dog is people want to prevent injuries. But there are a lot of other ways. Of course, we want to prevent injuries with our detection dogs, but there are other very, very important reasons why we need to be thinking about canine fitness. I'm going to talk to you today about that. So thank you for joining. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us. I know you have experience in both the fitness and the detection work. But if you guys are watching and if you're near that chat box, if you can write a few comments, I'd love to know what brings you here. Do you do any type of work with your dog that requires them to use their nose? So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to give you some examples and highlight why I want you to be thinking about fitness when you're dealing with these types of dogs. So if it's your first time here, let me just give you a quick introduction. My name is Boling. I'm the owner and founder of Northeast Canine Conditioning. I love helping people take their sport dogs, their working dogs, and turning them into elite canine athletes. And of course, canine fitness applies to our pet dogs also. So the topic today is near and dear to my heart because I've got experience. My entry into the working dog world was actually through search and rescue. That was my entry. And after search and rescue, I got involved in protection sports. And then more recently, I've been doing narcotics detection. And I teach canine fitness. I work with police officers, sport dog handlers, pet dog trainers, and I help them look at the relationship of canine fitness and how important it is to the work they do and how do they develop fitness programs for their dogs. So this is something that touches home for me. So first, let's talk a little bit about, who might you be? Who are we talking about when we're talking about detection work and nose work? And it's really a broad range of different types of area of expertise. And I'm not going to name all of them, but if you can think of others, make sure you add them in the comment section. So Marilyn has 2 dogs in nose work. One advanced and one that's just starting. So I know a lot of people are getting more this focus in nose work and scent work and doing it as a sport, doing it for fun is becoming hugely popular, not just in the United States, but all over the world. But in addition to that, thinking about not just for sport, but also for work, in search and rescue, we have trailing dogs, we have air scent dogs, we have human remains dogs. We have dogs that do, I'm thinking about my friends who do FEMA work, urban search and rescue. Those dogs are crawling over rubble piles, collapsed buildings. So when you think about canine fitness for search and rescue, times when we think about dogs that are doing, nose work, scent work, that search and rescue, I think, is a little bit easier for us to think about the significance of fitness. Because, for example, if my dog is working on a rubble pile, of course, my dog has to have good body awareness, good balance. If my dog is an air scent dog, running off leash, going miles and miles and miles, searching through the woods and the forest and through cliffs and valleys and gorges and going over, through rivers, of course, canine fitness is really important. But also the dogs that we are searching, say a trailing dog, and they're attached to a harness, and at most they might trot a little bit, right? Or their handler's going to be like running behind them. But, usually when I was working a trailing dog, my dog would walk. And I would walk quickly, but I would walk behind her. So these dogs, it's also just as important, canine fitness, for similar reasons as some of those other search and rescue, areas. But also each of these sports and jobs that the dogs do, they all have unique demands. So we have to think about canine fitness in relationship to what they're doing. I know I was talking to some people who do search and rescue in Maine, up towards the northern part of Maine, and along the coastal area, they got steep, rocky cliffs. I mean, tough terrain that the dogs are, climbing up and over and through things. And, the risk, they do have a risk to injury, but also the endurance and the stamina is one of the first things that come to mind. So those are the types of, in each discipline that we're thinking of, also think about within those fields, what unique needs and demands do those dogs have? And where does fitness relate into that? Some other examples, when we think of some examples of some of the detection work, some of the sports related activities, we've got narcotics detection. We've got dogs searching for explosives. We've got bed bug dogs that are searching for bed bugs. I know people who work in conservation, and they use dogs for searching for things like turtles that are becoming extinct. Also, I know people in Africa who they have dogs that are manhunting. They're searching for poachers that are out there that are, shooting the rhinos, shooting the elephants. And so when we look at detection work, I mean, it's a huge area, all the different things that we can teach dogs to search for. And I think a lot of people, maybe the first thing that might come to mind is your typical, when we think of dual purpose police dogs and narcotics and explosives, but also on the civilian side, we also have, I mean, you can name it. You have dogs searching for fruit, dogs searching for money. I have a friend, and they do pipeline leak detection dogs that are searching for leaks in pipelines. So, there's just a whole field of dogs out there that are doing things for sport and for work related to detection work. So when we look at this, I'm going to periodically just kind of throw up some photos here for you to look at also. So now that we've identified there's a huge range of areas when we talk about dogs that are using their nose, right, for search or for sport, searching for sport, for jobs, saving lives. So where does fitness fit into this? So one of the things to think about is just basically the ability. Think about a dog's ability to detect odor. So, for example, when my dog Knox is searching, one of the things that I can tell when he hits, he's picking up a particular odor that I've trained him on, is if he's searching and he's panting, sometimes I have him on lead, sometimes he's off leash. So one of the things that I'll notice is his breathing changes. His panting will stop. He'll close his mouth, and he's sniffing more, and he's sniffing harder through the nose. So if you think about this, if a dog is out of shape and they're coming in and they're not super fit and they're not used to, they just don't have that cardio endurance. Well, when they come in, I've seen them work. Those dogs are getting more fatigued. They're getting fatigued much more quickly and sooner and faster. And also you'll see those dogs are panting more. They're panting much sooner. They're breathing harder. And that's going to interfere. It's going to affect their ability to take in that odor, as well as if we want to compare that to a dog that's coming in fresh, has energy, they're not panting like crazy, right? So just the bare bones, looking at the dog's ability and the focus and attention they put into, sniffing out a particular scent, that's going to be affected on how fit your dog is. And if your dog's not very fit, you're going to see that work and that ability to start to decrease. So those are, just one of the early things that come to mind when I'm working my own dog. And I definitely notice a difference when we're in hot weather and he's breathing a lot harder, or if I've gone a number of weeks and I haven't been able to work him. And I definitely see a difference, not just because maybe he hasn't been working in a while. It's not so much that he hasn't been doing the job, but it's his fitness level. I most definitely see a decline in his working ability when his fitness level is going down, which is not, we've got research that connects the two between their ability, their efficiency and effectiveness in searching, and their how fit the dog is. So another thing, to me, this is huge. When I talk to people who train these dogs and work these dogs, one of the things that I hear people struggling with and they'll complain about and they get frustrated is when their dog just isn't mentally there, right? The dog is they're just kind of zoning out. They're not super focused, right? When you have a dog searching like that and you know they can do much better, it gets frustrating. So most definitely, this can be directly affected by your dog's fitness level. So mental focus and that mental stamina to keep going and keep searching and really focusing on the job at hand, this can be affected by fitness level. And I always love to give a boxing example, a human example. When I was doing boxing with my coach, I was taking private one-on-one lessons, and it was a hot day. I wasn't training a lot. I was in a gym that was not air conditioned, and it was an hour-long session, and it was towards the end of the session. So I was getting hot, I was getting tired, and my coach was giving me a series of punches to do. So he would name off, he would associate a certain punch with a number. So we'd have a right, we might do a hook, we might do an uppercut, we'd have different, and then he would give me a number and he would say, okay, he would list off a series of punches that I was supposed to do. And I had to remember, if he would give me 5, 6, 7 punches in a row, I had to remember them and then do them. I had to do the series of the punches. And I remember I was just done physically. I was fatigued. I didn't have much more to go. And I was looking right at him and he told me a series of maybe 5 punches. Normally I would have no problem ever remembering 5 in a row. Frequently it's a series, a combination that I do a lot. As I was focused, I was paying attention. As soon as he told me the punches to do, I got ready and I looked at him and I said, can you repeat? Everything you just told me, I can't remember what you just told me. And it was, he just told me. I was looking right at him. I was focusing. My brain power, my clarity, it was gone. He had to tell me 1 or 2 more times. Then I did it and I messed up. And then I'd be like, I'm sorry, I forgot. I couldn't retain the information. My mental acuity, it was gone. And because I was fatigued, I was tired. And so, our dogs are the same way. If you've ever worked your dog when they're fatigued and tired and they just don't have a lot of energy left, their eyes just aren't as, clear and crisp, and their actions and responses to you, they don't seem to respond as quickly. And a lot of times I think people will mistake it and say, oh, my dog's distracted, or my dog's not paying attention to me on purpose. My dog's choosing to ignore me. But I know with my own dogs, a lot of times it's the fatigue. It can be the weather, a mixture of the fatigue and the heat. It affects that mental focus. So searching is very demanding mentally. It's also demanding physically. So if you ever take your dogs out and search and it looks like they're not doing a lot of activity, and my dogs, they'll come home and they'll crash. Mentally, it's fatiguing in the kind of work that they do. So the more fit your dog is your dog's going to work longer. Your dog's going to be able to work through that longer. Your dog's not going to fatigue physically as quickly. And that means your dog mentally is going to be with you longer, right? It's very important in nose work. And what they've done research to show that when these dogs are more fit and they can search longer, like the dogs are staying more accurate. So it's not just a matter of searching longer, but it's also keeping your dogs focused and on target and being accurate in the searches. So that's definitely really important. Also, if you're doing a long search, if you're doing searches multiple days or doing multiple searches. I know friends of mine, they will do bed bug detection work, and they'll have contracts and they'll work with hotels, and they'll be searching hundreds of rooms. And sometimes, they'll bring another dog along. They'll give their dog a rest. Like you'll search a certain number of rooms, you give your dog a rest, and then you search. But the more fit your dog is, the easier your dog is going to handle searching all those rooms. The same, I know people working border patrol, and the dogs are searching hundreds of cars that are coming through at the border, airport, right? So if you think about, I know a lot of people that do this for fun and for sport, and the intensity and the amount of time they're searching is not the same as some of these working dogs. But there are these working dogs, they're putting in full 8-hour days. Of course, they have downtime, but they really have to mentally and physically be there to have that stamina to continue that searching. Very, very important. So in addition to the mental focus and stamina, just like I said, searching longer. So the ability to, build that stamina, work longer. And also, here's another thing. Your dog's going to work longer, but your dog is also going to recover faster. So a dog that is more fit, one of the signs when we look at a dog that's fit, when a dog is well conditioned, they recover from exercise faster. When I'm going from winter time, where maybe I'm not doing a lot of work, or let's say summertime. Summertime, it's been way too hot. It's been like in the 90s, and like we're not used to 90-degree weather. So when the cooler weather comes, right? When the cooler weather comes, my dog's not used to working much. So at the beginning of the fall season, my dog, he's not as conditioned. And when we're done exercising, he takes a long time to recover. Not just recovering immediately after exercise, but recovering day to day, like the following day to recover and be ready to work again the next day. So the more fit your dog is, your dog's going to be able to search longer. They're going to recover faster during that day of work, that day of training. And also if you're doing back-to-back days, your dog's going to recover faster and be fresher and be ready to go the more fit they are. And another area, thanks, Portia. I see, and Michael and Marilyn can relate to this. Again, if you're just now joining us, if you're involved in any kind of scent work, nose work, detection work, search and rescue, I'd love to hear what you do. But these are all, like I said, just thinking about the importance. Yes, maybe our detection dogs, our nose work dogs aren't climbing 8-foot walls. Yes, they're not running full speed across the distance of a football field to attack a bad guy, right? But there are most definitely benefits to having our dog fit and healthy, and having our dog in the most fit that we can have them be. And I don't have time to talk about this today. If you look at some of my previous recordings, if you go to Northeast Canine, let me see if I got this, every Friday at 8:30 p.m. I'm on my Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook page. But if you go to my Facebook page and click on videos, you'll see, I think there's over 60 videos that I've done on canine fitness and canine business. If you go back, probably the last couple months, I have a video where I talked about a balanced fitness program. What is a balanced fitness program? It wasn't that long ago that I did it. And so when we say, okay, we want to focus on fitness, we want to help our dog improve fitness, improve their endurance and stamina, we want to improve them, help them in the searching, but we need to really have a nice balanced program, because these dogs are going to benefit most definitely from cardio exercise. And in cardio, we have anaerobic exercise, but these dogs are most definitely going to benefit from strength training. It's going to help with power and strength and help them go longer. Body awareness, balance, flexibility, all of these can really help them. And I'll give you one more human example. This is an example. I'll say when I'm a runner, I don't run quite as much as I used to because I've got a bad back and I just can't do the miles like I used to. But one of the examples is when I was training for races and marathons and I was just running, like I was just focusing on cardio, like I was improving my cardio, I was improving my fitness, and I was increasing my distance. But I promise you, when I started adding strength training to my running routine, I started lifting weights, I started doing some interval training. So I now started pushing myself by doing sprinting, bursts of energy in those sprints. But really, when I started adding more resistance, I started building strength in my legs, building strength in my thighs and my quadriceps and my hamstrings. It most definitely affected my running. I could feel it. Like if I was running 3, 4, 5 miles and never did any strength training, it felt very different than if I was bringing in strength training and then running 3 to 4 miles. It was easier to run. I felt like I could go longer. I felt like I wasn't working as hard in my running. So even when we think about it, cardio endurance, a lot of people, that's the first thing they'll see. Oh, of course, my dog needs cardio because I want him to search longer. But by combining your cardio with those other aspects of a balanced program, it's going to enhance everything in the dog. Everything. You're going to have an overall well-rounded, well-fit and conditioned dog, and he's going to perform better. And then one last thing I wanted to mention about the balance program is that if we're only focusing on one type of activity, if I'm only doing cardio, or if I'm only doing strength training, or I'm only doing body awareness and balance, I am actually creating imbalances in my dog. Like if all I do is only run and I never do stretching and I never do strength training, I'm going to have an imbalance in my muscles. I have certain muscles I'm constantly working more than the others, and I'm actually creating an imbalance. And when I create that imbalance, I'm creating weakness. And with the weakness, if there's going to be an injury, one of the first areas that has the potential to be injured are going to be those weak areas. So another reason to have that balance program is still going to help endurance. It's still going to help, prevent that mental fatigue. It's going to help the stamina, but it's going to make your dog stronger and fitter, and it's going to help prevent them from having such an imbalance that it's going to put your dog at risk, possibly at risk down the road. So those are some really important things to consider. So again, if you go to Northeast Canine Conditioning, my Facebook business page, and click on videos, you'll see a lot of videos there that are fitness related. And there is one, I'm pretty sure the title is called A Balanced Fitness Program. And I had like a little pie chart that shows the different components of what makes up a balanced program. And then also I wanted to let you guys know that I have, some of you are here and you're in the program, but I have what's called the Elite Canine Athlete Program that leads to people becoming certified as it's called a Certified Canine Athlete Specialist or Certified Canine Athlete Advisor. But if you're interested in learning more, because it's a much bigger discussion than I do on a 30-minute Friday show, but if you're interested in learning more about the significance of fitness, the components of a balanced program, how do you design a fitness program to meet the needs of your particular type of dog that you work with, or if you train dogs, right? I am taking applications for my program. I only open it up for enrollment twice a year. And I'm just now starting pre-registration. I'll be doing over the next couple weeks. And I don't have just public enrollment. You can't just go to my website and enroll in the program. I talk to everybody. I have either by telephone, or I do a Facebook or a video conference call. But this is the first announcement I've made, but I am opening up a registration, and I'm taking applications. And it's pretty much, I have limited spots. As soon as they're full, then I close enrollment. But if you're interested, you can download the brochure. The short URL is tinyurl.com/caninefit. It's the letter K, the number 9, and fit. Also, in the comments, if you just write down canine athlete, just put canine athlete in the comments, I will privately send you a message. I'll reach out to you, and I'll also send you the brochure. And I'll also know that you're interested, and I'll follow up with you. So again, if you're interested in learning more on how do you design these fitness programs, how do you assess a dog to know where to start and how to progress, this is for all types of activities, pet dogs, working dogs, sport dogs. There's also a unique thing for the program. If you are a canine business owner and if you are a dog trainer, if you teach other people, or if you're the leader of a search and rescue team, if you have a club and you're a training director, another thing that I do in the program is I help you learn about how you can most effectively take this information and get it to other people so we can impact more and more dogs. So I did want to make that announcement. If you're interested, enrollment registration is starting up, and applications, what you'll do is download the brochure, scroll to the bottom, and there's a link to the application. It's just a couple questions for you to send to me. Yeah, Michael is here. He's in the program, and thank you, Michael. He says it's an awesome program, and we have people in there. I have police canine detection trainers. I have search and rescue handlers. I have people who do fly ball agility. I have pet dog trainers. I mean, you name it. The person who did the conservation searching in Africa, in South Africa, she went through my Elite Canine Athlete program. We have people who are getting ready to sign up from Greece. We have graduates in Israel. As I mentioned, South Africa, Sweden, of course, the United States, Canadians. It's a really, really great group of people. It's an international group, very knowledgeable, and we all learn from each other. So I had to put a little plug in there because some of you guys are here, some of my members and graduates. So so I got a minute or two. Any questions? Let me just double check. If I miss your question, or if you're watching the replay, ask your question. I'll go back and I'll make sure I answer. Again, if you're interested in learning more, you can go to this website, thetinyurl.com/K9, the letter K, the number 9 fit, and you can download the brochure. And if it looks interesting, there's a little button to fill out for an application. And then what I do is I set up a time to talk with you so I can give you all the details about it. Any questions here? All right, you guys. So again, every Friday, I think I've only missed one in the last 1 year and 2 or 3 months. Every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, you can find me on my Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook business page. If you're watching this as a replay, and if you find it helpful, anything that's been useful or helpful to you, I'm sure others will benefit. Please feel free at any time to take my videos, share them, share the link. Some of them are also on YouTube. I put some of them that make a good podcast. I also have a podcast channel. If you want to know more, again, just write down Canine Athlete in the comments. I will follow up. I'll message you. I'll answer your questions and have a chat with you and tell you what you'd like to learn about helping our dogs get more fit, helping them getting healthier, living longer, having aging more gracefully, and having a longer working or a sport career. So thank you so much for joining. Again, share your comments. Let me know what kind of work you do with your dog. And I hope to see you when we're live next Friday. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.